Hey guys, what's going on? This is RJ Game News USA here, and I just got done watching the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation, and so I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on things. So if you're new to the channel, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you hadn't already. Let me start off by saying this presentation was an absolute banger. It was fucking great. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. It was missing a few things, and we'll go over that towards the end of the video. But I do have to say, it left me feeling very excited for the future of Nintendo. Let's go over some of the system details, and then we'll get into all the games that I want to talk about. So first of all, the Switch 2 launches June 5th, 2025. There's a $450 bundle and a $500 bundle. The $500 bundle includes Mario Kart World. Now, game prices are going to be $70, but Mario Kart World is $80. And I'm even hearing rumors that those are just digital prices, and that physical prices might even be $10 more. I'll be getting the $500 Mario Kart bundle. For sure. Pro controllers are $80. That's a little high. But they're adding GR and GL buttons for button mapping and an audio jack. So that's exciting. I'll be picking up a Pro controller at some point. Let's go over the specs. I'm not much of a tech head, but we definitely got to talk about the specs and what this thing is capable of. It's got a 1080p screen. It has 4K resolution docked. Games can be played up to 120 frames a second. It has an LCD 7.9-inch screen with HDR. The Joy-Con 2 is connected by magnets. There's bigger joysticks and buttons, and you can also use the Joy-Cons like a computer mouse. So that's interesting. That'll definitely come in handy for some games, or for some gimmicks for some games. Most importantly, there's 256 gigabytes of storage. This is great, because this game system, rather, could not hold many games digitally on the Switch 1. But now with the Switch 2, you can hold a lot more. And I'm going all digital. Not just for the price reasons, but also just for the simplicity factor of it. There's 2 USB-C ports as well. Let's go over some of the features. There's a new C button. Built-in game chat for noise cancellation except for your voice. And you can also share game screen, video chat on screen with the camera. You can use game share with friends and other Switch 2 users and even Switch 1 systems. You can play compatible Nintendo Switch 1 games, both physical and digital. So yeah, it's very important, both for accessibility and for connectivity. Game cards will be red. That will differentiate themselves from the typical Switch 1 game cards. You can use the system data feature to transfer games and save data from Switch 1 to Switch 2. Which is great, because I need to transfer stuff from Switch 1 to Switch 2. So they're going to try to make this a seamless transition. They want to garner new fans, but they also would like a seamless transition to get those 150 million people that played Switch 1 to come over to Switch 2. Some games released on Switch 1 will get upgraded Switch 2 edition versions. You can upgrade your Switch 1 version by purchasing an upgrade pack, estimated $10, even includes extra content. So let's talk about that. So, the extra content is like with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, there's a whole other world they're adding with the Switch 2 edition. Mario Kart Jamboree's got additional features added and additional mini games added with their Switch 2 edition. I think this is much preferable than let's re-release games, you know, at full price. Although, there will be Switch 2 boxed games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, where you could buy the Switch 2 edition full price, or you could buy the Switch 1 version of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and upgrade path it. But either way, it comes up to the same price, is my understanding, once you upgrade path it. And, yeah, I think this is really important. So, like, games like Metroid and Pokemon ZA that are Switch 1 games, but they're coming out after the launch of the Switch 2, can basically be treated like Switch 2 games with added features and added performance, which I think is very important. It's important for Metroid because it'll make it look a lot better and run a lot smoother, and you can use the mouse feature for point and aim. It's important for Pokemon ZA because that game looked like dog shit in its initial trailer drop with its frame rate, and hopefully the Switch 2 will fix those issues. So I think this is a good system. I like it a lot that there's some way to make games like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild look and run better, and also other games like Kirby and Mario Party Jamboree to have extra content packed in. So, with the quick stuff out of the way, and all those features, and all that information out of the way, let's talk about games. Let's start with Mario Kart World, which will be a launch day title, and June 5th, which will have kart races around the globe, adding weather conditions. You can go off racetrack and drive everywhere. Still includes Classic Grand Prix. Drive to next course as part of the competition. 24 drivers in each race. Knockout Tour Race is non-stop from one corner of the world to another, with multiple checkpoints for eliminations. And you could also do free roam mode. So yeah, I'm super fucking excited for this game. Honestly, I would pay $200 for this game. I think I will have multiple years of enjoyment and hundreds of hours of fun playing Mario Kart World on Switch 2. So very excited for that. Can't wait. It's a Mario Kart World where everything's seamless and connected. No more fucking retro tracks and the same old Mario Kart formula. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe perfected that formula, and we got something brand new that's going to take Mario Kart to the next level. And I looked at that world map, and it looks fucking great. And I am very excited to get my hands on Mario Kart World day one. Then we have Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour coming out at launch. It's actually a paid game that works more like a tech demo for the system. I don't love that it's a paid game. I would prefer this to be a literal tech demo like Astro's Playroom was for PlayStation. But this is the hand we're dealt. If you're interested in buying it, you'll have to buy it. Then we have Dragon Drive at launch. It's like a Rocket League looking style 3-on-3 paraplegic basketball robot game. Yes, I'm not joking. It looks somewhat fun. It's sort of like the ARMS game of Switch 1, basically for Switch 2. And just like Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is sort of like the Nintendo Land from the Wii U, or it's sort of like the 1-2 Switch from Nintendo Switch 1. So, sort of repeating those same patterns. And then we have Elden Ring coming 2025. We got a lot of good third-party support here. Hades 2 coming in 2025. Street Fighter 6 is a launch title. Daemon X Machina coming September 5th. Actually looks really good. I might get it. It looked really good. Split Fiction is a launch title. And, boy, that's like the highest rated game on Metacritic. So to have that as a launch title is a pretty big deal. Big news here. EA Sports is bringing Madden and FIFA to Nintendo Switch 2. So that's awesome. That's great. Long overdue. I know with the Switch, they would have loved to have it on there, but they couldn't figure it out because the Switch was so underpowered. With the Wii U, they just dropped support for it at some point because the sales were so bad. So, after like a decade of a very non-existent relationship between EA and Nintendo, it's good to see that they're bridging the gap here, and we can see some Madden and FIFA on a Nintendo system. You know, the same place that you play your Mario Kart should be the same place you can play your Madden. It's good to have these options if you don't have multiple systems. Then you have Hogwarts Legacy coming at launch. That's a big selling game that Nintendo's getting right at launch. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 coming this summer. That's a day-and-date game that will help the Switch 2 out. Hitman World Assassination coming at launch. But even more important than that, they announced Project 007, which is basically the next James Bond game. They didn't say any release date, no real trailer to speak of, but just the fact they're acknowledging its existence has me excited. Bravely Default HD will be a launch title. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of 3DS games coming to the Switch 2, like being remastered or remade for the Switch 2. I could definitely see that happening. Yakuza 0, excuse me, is a launch game. And then we had Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment coming this winter. I'm absolutely getting this. It looked fucking great. You have, I love the Hyrule Warriors games. Age of Calamity was my favorite one of all of them, and that was the last one they did, really, with Hyrule Warriors, at least. And I like the Fire Emblem Warriors a decent amount, too. So I'm excited for this. Controversial opinion, I liked Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment more than I liked Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. It's more my style of game with action and whatnot. So I was very excited for that. And then I literally screamed at this announcement. GameCube games are coming to Switch Online service, expansion pack at launch. 3 of them at launch to begin with. Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, and Soul Calibur 2. So if you're wondering why we never got a Wind Waker HD on the Switch 1, or why we never got an F-Zero GX, I guess they figured, hey, we're going to drop the GameCube thing anyway, and these games will be there. So, and they're going to add more games as it goes on throughout the life cycle of the Switch 2. So, expect that file size to grow, people. I'm still waiting on Smash Bros. The OG to come on N64, but I can't wait for Melee to come on GameCube. I can't wait to see games like Twilight Princess and Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion, Mario Kart Double Dash, and games like that to come to GameCube. Beautiful Joe, maybe, if we're lucky. But GameCube's got a lot of good games I like to see on their service. And so, I'm very happy about that. I was still holding out hope we get some DS stuff, but nah. Borderlands 4, coming 2025. They confirmed that, so that'll be a launch day and date game with the Switch 2. Like, when other systems get it, the Switch 2 will also have it. So that's a big deal. Civilization 7 will be a launch title for the Switch 2, and it will have mouse controls. So that's nice to have those mouse controls there. Make it more PC-like if you like that style of game. 2K had a big announcement. WWE 2K games and NBA 2K games are coming to the Switch 2. I think this is really nice. Again, now the Switch 2 will have a bunch of sports games. You'll have NBA, you'll have football, you'll have soccer, you'll have baseball on there. And that's really good for third-party support. You know, a lot of casuals love that shit. And WWE. Cyberpunk 2077 at launch. You know, another game that sold a bunch. It had a negative reputation at launch, but then its reputation got better over time. So you're getting the most complete, best version of Cyberpunk you can, essentially. Final Fantasy VII Remake at launch. Again, right out the gate. Right out the gate. If you have been playing Switch 1 this whole time and haven't had another system, there's so many games right out the gate that it's like, wow, these third-party games are finally coming to my Nintendo system. Trust me, I had that feeling when I went from the Wii to the Wii U, and all these third-party games came over, like Assassin's Creed 3 and Darksiders 2 and stuff like that, and Black Ops 2. I was super excited. We also know Call of Duties are eventually going to come to the Switch 2 as well. So again, a lot of these games, these third-party games, they are huge for the casual market, for some of the hardcore gaming market. It's going to help with sales tremendously. Hollow Knight Silksong, one of the bigger indie games. It's coming in 2025. That's just good to see the confirmation there. Star Wars Outlaws 2025. That's a big deal. That's awesome. But then this next announcement really blew people away. This next announcement, we got the Duskbloods. It's a From Software game coming in 2026. One of the few 2026 games they announced. And it blew everybody by surprise. Not just that the game exists, that it's on a Nintendo platform, it looks so good, but also the fact that it's an exclusive title. Whoa, buddy! An exclusive FromSoft game for Nintendo Switch 2? Nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted that. And then you have Kirby Air Raiders coming in 2025. Masaru Sakurai worked on it. It looks, you know, we didn't get much of a look at it, but what we did see, it looked pretty good. Glad it's coming out this year. And then they ended the presentation with Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I know some of you, myself included, was hoping for a 3D Mario. And we didn't get it. And we'll go over the games we didn't get here in a minute. But Donkey Kong Bonanza looked good. I'm happy it's there. I'm happy it is what it is. I don't regret it being there at all. I'm excited. I'm excited. This Switch 2 looks phenomenal. It's affordable. It's phenomenal. Switch 1's my all-time favorite console. Switch 1 is going to be the all-time highest selling console. Switch 2 is going to have a long road to surpass the Switch, but it's already looking promising. It's already looking promising, guys. So, my overall thoughts on the presentation was 9.5 out of 10. There's a few things missing here that we're about to talk about, but I do want to talk about games I'm definitely buying. I'm going in the definite buy categories for the rest of 2025. I'm definitely buying Mario Kart World. It's coming with my bundle. Okay? June 5th. That's 100% happening. 100% I'm buying Donkey Kong Bonanza. That game looks fucking great. I love 3D platformers. And then Damien Monkia looks good. I'm not going to say 100% chance I'm buying it, though. But then you have Kirby Air Raiders. That's 100% buying that. I love Kirby, so I'm in on it. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. That's a 100% buy. And then I feel like I'm missing one. Am I? Well, let me see. I got my list in front of me. Well, I'll definitely buy that From Software game in 2026, but I was more thinking about games that come out this year. No, that's it. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yeah. That was, in my mind, that's a Switch 1 game, but you can get the Switch 2 edition. So, that is a fucking stacked year. A stacked second half of the year, I should say. So, if I had to rank it, Mario Kart World's the best game out of the bunch that I'm most excited for. Then I would say... God, I'd hate to do this because, honest to God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the second game I'm most excited for might be Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks so fucking good. Like, I know it's not a Mario 3D game, but I mean, it's just it's instead of the Mario character, you have the Donkey Kong character. Okay, cool. It's a 3D game that looks just as high quality as any 3D Mario game. So, if you look at it from that perspective, this shit's the second most important game, right? This is the second on my list. So Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It just is. I mean, it could be Mario, it could be Donkey Kong. Doesn't matter. What matters is the world around them, right? And then I'd have to go Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in a close third. And then fourth... would be Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and fifth is Kirby Air Raiders. Still gonna get it, but it's definitely a distant fifth. But, yeah, but you take Air Raiders out of it. Those four games right there, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Metroid, and Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, those four games that makes 2025 such a fucking great year for gaming all of a sudden. Because we only knew about one of these games before today. Now we know about the other three. One of those four games ought to win Game of the fucking Year. And then... But let's talk about what wasn't at this presentation. We didn't get to see a good look at the UI of the system. It's probably going to be very similar to the Switch. Maybe they could have gave us a look at the storefront, what the store would be like, and hopefully it runs faster than the eShop did. You know, there's some things around the edges like that. But overall, I'm very pleasantly surprised at the features they added. But games-wise, we weren't missing a lot. The biggest third-party game we were missing is probably GTA 6. Okay? And that was a pipe dream that it would happen. But instead, we got Dustbloods. And it's an exclusive Switch title. So that's kind of a big deal. We didn't get Smash Bros. At this presentation. But I think Smash Bros. Is definitely going to be later in the system's life cycle. You know, Smash Bros. And Zelda ought to be more mid to late in the system's life cycle. It's just going to be. And then 3D Mario, of course. A lot of people were predicting 3D Mario. It didn't pop in. I think there's a few reasons for that. I think they didn't want Mario and Mario Kart both there at the presentation. I think that's clear. I'm pretty sure they're either sitting on a 3D Mario game or they're about done with the 3D Mario game because it's been a long time since Odyssey. And that game, if it's just getting more polish and more polish and more polish, it's going to be fucking great. Like, Mario Wonder was such a good 2D Mario game and had so much polish to it. This next 3D Mario game is going to be phenomenal. But Donkey Kong also waited a long time to get a brand new game. We haven't had a new Donkey Kong, like, mainline game since Tropical Freeze. And we're so used to Donkey Kong Country, the 2D game. It's like, to see Donkey Kong in 3D and it's actually going to be fucking good. It looks like it's going to be good. It's exciting. So I can live with Donkey Kong for now in 3D, and we get Mario next year in 3D. But it better come next year. Just throwing that warning out. But if you look at Nintendo's history, yeah, with the NES, they had Mario Bros. At launch. Super Nintendo had Mario World at launch. and N64 and Super Mario 64 at launch. Well, what's happened now is Mario Kart is actually the system seller. It really is. It was for the Switch and it was for the Wii U. So times have changed. On the GameCube, they didn't launch with Sunshine. They launched with Luigi's Mansion. But they had Smash Bros. Melee, which was the best game, like a month later. And they had Sunshine a year later. With the Wii Sports was their system seller, and they had Twilight Princess right there at launch. Galaxy came a year later. Cool with it. Wii U, they had a 2D Mario at launch, and they had Nintendo Land. They had a 3D Mario a year later. Cool with it. And a Mario Kart the year after, and Smash Bros. 4 a year after. Cool with it. The Switch had Breath of the Wild at launch, and it had Odyssey in the fall that year. Cool with it. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was in there too towards the beginning. So, that's fine. That's awesome. So, here, for Switch 2, I believe what you're going to see is this. I'm going to lay out the roadmap for you. In general, the big stuff, right? You got Mario Kart at launch. You got Donkey Kong shortly after to carry momentum. Okay? Then, you have Metroid Prime 4. Maybe that comes in August. So you got Mario Kart in June. You got Donkey Kong in July. You got Metroid in August. Right? That all makes sense so far. And then maybe in September, you get like, no, Hyrule Warriors is winter, so we'll say December for that. We'll say November for Pokemon ZA. Maybe Kirby is in October. Does that make sense? So, I mean, you have somewhat of a roadmap there. Metroid in August or September, right? I think that works. That works for the rest of the year for me. I'm down for that. Then what do you got? Big picture. 2026. 3D Mario. Imagine 3D Mario in the summer around the 1-year anniversary of the Switch 2. Perfect. You bring it up early in 2026. It's out middle 2026. When you have a little bit of an install base. Great. 2027 rolls around. Now you hear about Smash Bros. Now we're cooking with grease. You get Smash Bros. In 2027. Awesome. And then maybe 2028 they pull off a brand new Legend of Zelda that's been in development for 5 years by then. That would be the wishful thinking. That would be the hope. And of course, new IP along the way. You know, I would have loved to see Monolith Soft here. We didn't really see them. You know, Splatoon 4, I'm sure, could be in the works. So, you know, brand new Mario Party, brand new of everything in every franchise. F-Zero, I'm convinced, is getting a new game at some point. You know, 2D Metroid. I'm not going to sit here and name every Nintendo franchise that wasn't there, because they will make an appearance over the course of the next few years. Like, at some point, we're going to get a new Animal Crossing, right? And that's going to be a huge seller. So, overall, I'm super excited about everything that's going on. I hope you are too. Leave your comments below what you thought of the presentation. And let me know what you thought. I thought it was a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's one of the most important press conferences we've ever had for video game history, for Nintendo history. And, you know, I feel like I learned so much about the system. I feel confident in the future of Nintendo and the gaming industry as a whole. So, I know there'll be some negativity about the pricing. There will be. And I'm not thrilled about it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to each consumer whether or not they want to buy that product. So, with that being said, guys, I think that's going to end the video. I appreciate y'all stopping by and watching. This is the second take. I actually filmed a 46-minute video that got deleted by accident and had to redo this take. So you can laugh at me for that, but I'll see y'all later.